This is Jimmy Burns from Malvern, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show where we talk about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling, originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening's live fire fun and frivolity show. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, I'm going to give you a phone number. Nobody will use it, but we might use another way later. But here's how you get in touch with the show.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. or on the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you get the newsletter coming up in about 12 minutes from now. It's the third Tuesday of the month. And then the first hour and in the first interview segment, you know what that means, a visit from barbecue icon, barbecue cooking class instructor, TV show host, and the list literally goes on. Steven Raichlen will be joining us. Steven wrapping up a wild 2 weeks out there in St. Louis as he has been taping Project Fire Season 4. So we'll talk to him all about that and how it went down. There were some special guests that were there. We can talk about them and how they came to be, what he had on the recipe table, anything that he did local. I questioned him about it last month. Maybe a toasted ravioli, an ooey gooey sponge cake or butter cake or whatever the hell it is they call it. Did he have anybody from Pappy's around? Things like this. Then we'll move 35 past. And joining me, of course, none other than one of the co-founders of one of the most outrageously and easy to use live fire cookers on the market. Thought we had both of them, but it's going to be one of them tonight. Amber Glanville from Pit Barrel Cooker will be joining us. So there's something new to talk about as it relates to Pit Barrel. Not only has the Pit Barrel Extra Large, or the PBX, been out, been very successful. The first run sold out. If you go to the website right now, can't get it. Sold out. So we'll talk to her about, obviously, the great reception that it's been into the market, when we might be expecting some more PBX. And there is a new product to talk about as well, or a new accessory, whatever you want to call it, that can help those of you that have a specific style of cooker now dip your toe into the pool of the PBC experience or the Pit Barrel experience. We'll talk all about it. Hopefully I've teased you enough. You're wondering if you have that special cooker to allow you to dip that toe into the pool. We'll see if you do at 35 past the first hour. Then we'll move to the second hour, where we will find, of course, a visit from quarterly guest, creator of the uber successful Hey Grill Hey website, Susie Bulloch. And I believe there will be a Todd Bulloch sighting as well. And we'll talk to her all about Thanksgiving. There will be an overriding Thanksgiving theme, of course, throughout all the guests here this evening. But specifically, we'll be talking with Susie about Thanksgiving. She's well-known for live fire, well-known for family, mix them all together. And, of course, there's going to be live fire Thanksgiving mania going out there in Utah. So we'll talk to Susie and Todd about what they plan to do, some traditional stuff, some non-traditional stuff. Susie was also a part of something else that we're going to be talking about with my first guest. And I'm just laying it very general right now because I just don't want to give up the ghost. So we'll talk to her about that. You don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe you do if you follow Steven's social media. So plenty to talk about Susie with. Plenty to talk to about Susie. How do you say that? We're going to be talking a lot of live fire stuff with Susie when she appears 14 past the second hour. How about that? Then we will go to the bullpen segment. And coming out of the bullpen, none other than the president and owner of Primo Grill, Nick Bauer, will be joining us once again as we close out 2021. Last time we had him on, not only was the rotisserie out, the lift hinge was well received, the air dampers top and bottom were re-engineered, out for sale as well, so you could retrofit. But there were some other accessories that he was talking about. They're finally here. We'll talk about what happened, what the holdup was, how he was able to overcome those hurdles, if you will. And now we will talk about all those new Primo accessories just in time for the holiday season. How about that? So, Steven Raichlen, yes. Amber Glanville after that. Second hour, Susie Bulloch, Todd Bulloch from Hey Grill Hey. And we will close it out with Nick Bauer, Primo Grills. Don't forget, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Snapchat for a live video feed of the show. Go to Facebook and Twitch /BBQ Central Show. Also, YouTube /RD Rempe. And if you want to ask questions this evening or you want to get in on a different way, you can do it through the Clubhouse app. Download it on your phone. Find me. There's a live audio feed right now. If you want to ask questions of some of my guests, I can mix it in that way. I'll be trying my best. So get on the Clubhouse. We'll also be joined by Nick Bauer from Primo through Clubhouse, as we've been doing the last couple of weeks. So look forward to that if you want to jump in. Listener feedback from last week's show. Dennis in Colorado. Greg, what a show. All capitals. Your interview with Tim Scheer just hit home for me. I never knew Bill Arnold, but of course have bottles of his sauce, that being Blues Hog. Hearing his story and fight against cancer really hit home. Tim did his barbecue brother right. Very amazing memories. Regards, Dennis. Dennis, thank you for writing in. I know what you're talking about, of course, and why it hits home for you. I'm sure it hits home for a lot of other people because cancer, A, sucks, and it is quite prolific in who it affects. I don't think anybody doesn't know somebody that has had to battle cancer in some form or fashion, and whatever layer of knowing that you know this person outside of somebody directly within your family. So, Dennis, appreciate you writing in. Jack in Kentucky writing in. Greg, I have been a fan of Shake and Bake barbecue team for a while, but I'm even a bigger fan now after listening to Tim Scheer. Remember his friend and mentor, Bill Arnold of Blues Hogs. I don't think I would have the balls to show up that soon after losing someone I cared so much about and do an interview like he just did. I can't respect him enough for doing it. Thank you, Tim, and thank you, Greg, for a great segment. Regards, Jack. Jack, you are 100% right. In fact, I wondered as I put the invite out to Tim if he was going to be in any real shape to actually want to do it. Tim is a man. He is somebody that shows up, puts in the work, loves to promote in a good way. But I absolutely questioned if my asking was going to be a little too soon, if he wanted to wait a week or hell, even a month. I would have done that, absolutely. But I wasn't going to be interviewing anybody else on Bill Arnold other than Tim Scheer. So I would have waited as long as he was comfortable waiting. And he turned around, was it 2 or 3 days after Bill's passing, and did what was obviously a very tough segment for him. And we all know why. But I can't, just like you, Jack, I can't respect Tim enough in how he showed up and how he eulogized Bill, introduced us to him for those that aren't familiar. Maybe you're just familiar with the brand. You didn't know how it got started. He did a great job of talking about that story as well. And hopefully you also listened to the best of where I actually interviewed Bill Arnold back in 2011. Ed in Virginia writing in, Greg, I loves Blues Hog sauce and charcoal. I didn't really know the backstory behind the brand until I checked out the first hour. And the show this past Tuesday, Tim did a great job telling us about Bill Arnold and how he has been impacted by him personally, as well as Bill's impact on the barbecue world. Bill should have been voted into the Barbecue Hall of Fame years ago, as you said. Love the show, and much respect to Tim for showing up and doing that interview. Regards, Ed. And there's going to be a great debate that goes on, especially if next year Bill Arnold gets voted into the Barbecue Hall of Fame. I think while it will certainly be a much-deserved vote in, some people will take that as a slap in the face to a certain degree because Bill was alive this year to be voted in. And why would it take what some would be perceived as someone's passing, making that be the hurdle that gets them over into the Barbecue Hall of Fame, for instance? Dave in Michigan, upon Tuesday's recommendation, I ordered a jug of Blues Hog Original and Tennessee Red. They arrived this past Thursday, and holy smokes, they are delicious. Thanks for the heads up, and I would encourage anyone that hasn't tried them to order immediately. Outstanding, Dave. You are right. 50-50. Original and Tennessee Red is my favorite combo, and it works great on everything. So thanks for the feedback on Tim Shear's segment, everybody that wrote in. Steven Raichlen in the green room. I'll talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers before we get to him. The one-stop online shop for all things barbecue, a curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies will get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at Big Papa Smokers has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself, from the award-winning rubs and sauces to the American-made grills and smokers. Big Papa Smokers has everything you need to be a better outdoor cook. Whether you're a backyard barbecue fanatic like me or a competition pro, Big Papa Smokers has something for you. Known for the championship rubs and seasonings, popular flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, all proven winners on the competition circuit and in the backyard. Big Papa's has 13 perfectly balanced flavors that will transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. They also own Granny's barbecue sauce, so if you're looking for a new go-to sauce that will please everybody, Granny's traditional yet powerful flavors remind us of why we fell in love with barbecue in the first place. Aside from the premium selection of rubs and sauces, they are selling cookers. If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out that Mac 2-star General Pellet Cooker. Big Papa's the exclusive Mac dealer, even offering special packages. If you're not a fan of pellet smokers, how about that Old Hickory Ace BP, the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer? If you're not sure of what grill you need, call them, 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727, or shop their website at bigpapasmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA smokers.com. We're back with Steven Raichlen right after this. Stick around.
You're listening to the #1 most downloaded barbecue and grilling podcast anywhere. The Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by the Barbecue Guru, creators of automatic pit temperature control technology, sellers of ceramic cookers with built-in power draft fans and accessories to make your barbecue and grilling life easier. Visit bbqguru.com for more information or give them a call at 800-288-GURU. The Barbecue Guru continuing to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. It's the third Tuesday of a month in the first hour, and of course that means a interview segment with the icon of the industry, a host of TV shows, which we'll talk about, creator, the host of the popular Project Fire, which just wrapped season 4 on PBS, author of the Barbecue Bible, amongst the many other books. We are rejoined by Steven Raichlen. Hey, Steven.
Hey, how you doing?
I am absolutely fabulous. Appreciate you joining me. And it looks like, from as I follow your every move on social media, you've been on a little bit of a media blitz yourself with a live crowd cow a little bit earlier this evening. What'd you talk about there?
I did. Well, we talked about the new show. We talked about Wagyu beef. We actually devoted a whole show in the new season to demystifying Wagyu. We talked about my books. We talked about turkey, history of barbecue, how I got into it, and also and especially the new Planet Barbecue products that I launched last month that are being distributed exclusively by Crowd Cow. So that would be our Planet Barbecue brisket, our Planet Barbecue Southern style ribs, our grilled green corn, and our smoked baked beans to start with.
When you talk about demystifying Wagyu, what mystification is currently out there that you had to demystify?
Well, I mean, some people equate Wagyu with the most famous, perhaps notorious type of Wagyu, which is Kobe beef from Kobe, Japan. And while all Kobe comes from Wagyu steers, not all Wagyu steers give you Kobe beef. So that's one popular myth. Another popular myth that the steers are massaged, that they're to spread the fat evenly and give them the extraordinary marbling. If that worked, man, we could open massage studios to sort of take the place of liposuction studios, and we all retire gazillionaires. I also, wanted to explain what the difference is between Wagyu in Japan, how it arrived in the United States, how it arrived in Australia, what a hybrid Wagyu is, how it's different than a pureblood Wagyu. And to illustrate this on the show, we did one segment with an A5 Wagyu ribeye from Kagoshima Farm in Japan. A stunning piece of meat, so extraordinarily marbled it looked like white lace over a red tablecloth. Then we did an American Wagyu beef tomahawks, which social media influencer Dave Olson came on the show, and we did a very unusual cook. It was started off as a reverse sear and then ended up with a rapid flip every 10 seconds to put on an amazing crust. And finally, for Wagyu that everybody can afford, we did Wagyu smash burgers. So, sort of the ultra exclusive, the merely expensive, and then the affordable for everybody. Is democracy not a great thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me flash a comment from a listener right here. People are afraid of cooking it. Now, I know this wasn't one of the topics that we were going to be hitting on here, but we might as well run down the rabbit hole here for a few seconds. Do you agree with that? Do you think that people see, whether it's an A5 or some type of an American Wagyu, and then they see the price tag, and inherently fear builds that if I get it and I screw it up, I've wasted a $70 steak or a $100 steak, or in some instances a $250 steak if you're getting a 3-pound A5. That's some serious coin to mess up.
You bet. So I understand the apprehension, sort of the same way I felt the first time I put a porterhouse on the coals and cooked it caveman style. But I'll just share a little tip with people. If you're trying to grill a true A5 hyper marbled steak from Wagyu steak from Japan, grill it on a plancha. Don't try and grill it directly over the fire, because if you do that, you're going to melt out all that luscious fat and it will just catch fire and be wasted. Whereas if you grill on a plancha, and you can add wood chips to the fire if you want to add a little whisper of smoke. But if you grill on a plancha, the meat cooks in its fat. You don't lose as much fat. You won't get flare-ups. And then afterwards, with whatever fat remains on your plancha, you can grill bread. I did onigiri, Japanese rice cakes grilled in Wagyu fat, which is, if you ever have to choose your last meal before your execution, that would not be a bad way to go.
No doubt about it. Talking with Steven Raichlen from Barbecue Bible, barbecuebible.com, the website, and planetbarbecue.com if you're looking to get some of that mail order barbecue that Steven was just referencing. So, Project Fire Season 4, this is the TV show, wraps up shooting in St. Louis. You were there for 2 weeks. And how was it being in what would be considered a cold weather town, and also one that would get its fair share of rain, versus where you filmed in the past?
It was fantastic. This was our first urban show. We taped actually at Union Station, which is this mammoth. It used to be the largest train station in the United States. And it is now an entertainment center, a little bit of a mall. There's a hotel attached to it. Really, really.
All right, we're going to mark this. Union Station. Wondering where I'm at here. This was much longer. It was like 10 minutes, so flash a marker here. Who said it earlier? Working audio. Was that Brian Ashman? Brian, how dare you? Yes, it was. See, all you had to do was mention it, and bammo blammo. There it goes. So, I'm sure he realizes, I would hate to think that he's deep in... Oh,
Here we are.
Here we are. All right, so you were talking about how great and big Union Station was. I would assume bigger until Grand Central Station came along or something like this?
I don't know. Dimension-wise, it might be the biggest. I think what happened, as for every, especially a lot of Midwest train stations, the plane and the truck supplanted the train and kind of fell on its heels for a while, down on its heels for a while. But it was a spectacular setting. You mentioned cold, and it was cold. It was freezing. I had looked at the weather report a week before, and they said, 60 degrees that I can manage. We had mornings when it was in the 30s. Mm-hmm. So it was really cold. So I tried to look sunny, but, if I look cold, I was cold. Cool thing about being in an urban setting like that, we had a lot of local pitmasters on. We had David Sandusky from Beast Restaurant. We had John Matthews from Pappy's. We had Lauren and Ido Nalich from the Balkan Treat Box showing us Bosnian grilling and Bosnian wood fire bread baking. I mean, it's just incredible experience.
As you look back, and I know there's a bunch of, you probably got to go in for voiceovers, there's editing that needs to be done to get this all packaged up and ready for springtime rollout here for Project Fire Season 4, but was there something that happened, or maybe 2 or 3 things that happened over the course of shooting that really stick with you as being momentous points of the shoot?
Absolutely. Well, my absolute favorite part of the shoot is... the mystery boxes. And you may remember them from last year. I walk on the set, I lift up a box, there's an ingredient, and usually they're trying to, play a joke on me. And I have to figure out in real time how to grill it and turn it into something fabulous. So I can't disclose what the mystery box ingredients were. There were 5 episodes we did them, but they were fabulous, really challenging, really fun to grill. So that was one piece that was really fun. Another piece that was great, we did a show that I call either influential grilling or grilling under the influence, something like that. We had 3 of my favorite social media influencers on the show. So Derek Wolf from Over the Fire Grilling. We had, of course, I'm blanking out now, but...
you had Grillin' Fools?
Grillin' Fools, yep.
Yes.
Scott was on, and then we had Hey Grill Hey, Susie from Hey Grill Hey.
She'll be on in the second hour tonight, believe it or not.
Fantastic. Well, please say hi to her for me.
Of course.
And that was really interesting. It was really fascinating. I'm sort of an old seasoned TV guy, and social media is kind of what is happening now, where grilling on public television was, 15, 20 years ago. So very exciting for me.
Let's ask the hard-hitting questions here, Steven, and I appreciate your candor out in the front here. I don't question Susie Bulloch at all. Proven live fire cook, very successful, huge website, all the accessories that go along with the rubs, the sauces, TV shows that she's been on. She's finished very well in some of the competition shows. She's also been a judge on some of these shows. So I'm holding her off to the side immediately. But these other 2 guys, Over the Fire Cooking, I don't know who this guy is. I know Scott from Grillin' Fools. I mean, he's got huge media. Mm-hmm. But explain to me where the cooking chops really are. And I think it's important for you to give the right feedback here, because when you look at the social media presence and you look at the sheer number of followers, certainly everybody would love to have what they have going on. Scott has long been known in this realm to have figured out a way to game the system in order to get the most possible followers that you can get through algorithm hackery or whatever you want to call it. I think Over the Fire Cooking probably subscribes to whatever system that he was running. But outside of that, can these guys really cook?
Greg, it's really about content. That's why I chose them, because these are people I watch, and every time I watch, I learn. And Over the Fire Cooking, Derek Wolf, I mean, he's a spectacular and extremely imaginative cook. He cooks out of the box. I think about my own kind of approach, and my approach in my life has been repertorial, right? I travel around the world. I report on how people grill in different cultures. And he's sort of taking the basics and giving them spins that are so uniquely and personally his. And he's really, all three of them have created a style that is cinematographically unique. Now, there's more than they may be gaming algorithms, but the reason I watch him, and I think the reason almost 2 million people watch Derek, is because of his content. Ditto with Scott. Ditto with Susie.
I would assume you can't tell us what you guys were making in those if people weren't following you along in social media, or are you allowed to give us some hints on what we might be able to expect? A lot of meat?
Well, put it this way. With Derek, you're going to see chorizo sausage done in a way that is both brilliant and strikingly simple. And with Scott, you're going to see a way to combine a bacon weave with a lobster that is certainly something I never would have imagined. And Susie did a dish that's near and dear to my heart, because I have a version in Project Smoke. It was a bacon bourbon apple crisp, I guess. I can and with each of those people, I kind of did my little twist to add to theirs. So in the case of Susie, that was smoked whipped cream. So I don't think I've given too much away, but it's the good people on social media. You watch them, you get these 15-second and 30-second cooking classes that are just absolutely brilliant.
Were you able to glean any social media savvy from them as you were having them on the set, or were they happy to share a little tip or two?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talk social media. For me, it's a new world. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of at the in elementary school, and I was learning from them. I think they were learning from me. And when you walk onto it, especially if you're in social media and you're used to doing your performances in front of an iPhone, to walk on a set with 20 people with 5 cameras, with a food stylist, an assistant food stylist, a field chef, a director, a sound guy, it's pretty. I think it's pretty impressive / overwhelming.
Oh, I can imagine it would be potentially intimidating if you're not used to it, for sure.
By the way, I also have to cite one other St. Louisan, who I don't want to neglect, Chef Russell of the Union Station Hotel, who did an incredible grilled breakfast that involved homemade cinnamon rolls and bacon. And you'll have to tune into the show to see how they went together. But I sure want to wake up to that sometime. Again.
All right, we'll be looking for that. That's going to be next spring, of course. That is Project Fire Season 4. So we have about 5 minutes left, and in a week and a half from now, obviously, Thanksgiving is going to be taking place. On the scale of favorite eating holidays, where does Thanksgiving rank for you?
Probably number 1, possibly
really?
number 2. I really love the Jewish holiday of Passover too, but Thanksgiving, and it's amazing. It's a uniquely American holiday that is built around many uniquely or indigenous American foods. I say American, I mean, North America, Central and South America, but that's where turkey comes from. That's where cranberries come from. That's where squash comes from. That's where pumpkins come from. So, many of the foods we associate with Thanksgiving really are the foods of the New World.
Best way to do a turkey, and how do we want to do it this year? Gone. Markering that as well. And as soon as he dials back in, we'll get the best way to do a turkey. At least it's not as bad as last time. I'm not sure exactly what's happening, which leads me to believe that my chat with Amber Glanville could be in peril, or not. There could be some firewall going on there in Miami. I think Steven has journeyed back down to Miami out of Martha's Vineyard, where he summers. Spends half the time down in South Florida, and then up again in the New England area. I think it's a New England area. So All right,
Back.
so
Sorry
we are
about
back.
that.
All right, best way to do turkey, and how do we want to do it this year?
Well, I always do turkey a different way every year. It's kind of my little experimental season. But I last couple of years I've been playing around with spit roasting, and I love to spit roast. If you're on a Weber kettle, you spit roast the bird. You toss wood chips on the coals, so you're both smoking it, spit roasting it. The cover keeps the juices in, and the last year I think I did it on a Kalamazoo Gaucho, so it was an open wood fire rotisserie. Took a little bit longer, super fun. But speaking of turkey, and by the way, we're going to premiere this on Project Fire 4. Have you ever heard of a turkey rib?
No. Is that a real thing?
Well, we had a local pit mistress named Earlene Williams who came on and showed us how to make turkey ribs. So I'm not going to tell you anything more about it, but watch the show in May and you will experience it. Something cool about St. Louis, they really have their own foods, and it's their own food culture. And they're very proud of it, and rightly so.
Did you do the ooey gooey sponge cake or whatever the hell they call it? The butter gooey cake?
The gooey butter cake. I sure did. Yeah.
All right. Did you do toasted ravioli?
Not only did I do toasted ravioli, but I actually figured out how to grill it.
Of course you did, because anything good in the kitchen is better outside on live fire. We know that. Absolutely. For sides this coming, or in a week from this coming Thursday, what do you like traditionally, and then what would you recommend maybe outside of the box?
Well, traditionally for stuffing, I go a bit different. In Project Smoke, my book Project Smoke, I do it's a smoked bread pudding, mushroom bread pudding. That beats any stuffing hollow. And stuffing always separate, not in the bird, because in the bird it steams, and if you do it separately, you can indirect grill it, infuse it with smoke, give it a crust. So I love that. Cranberry, I'm kind of a traditionalist with sides, but if you want to get a little wacky, make a cranberry salsa with jalapenos and
That happened again. And we got a minute left. This is the worst time. This is, like if it was anybody else, I wouldn't even wait. I would just disconnect, and that's going to be it. So we'll wait to come back, do a little sign off here as we would, because that's what's right as we're entering in the real crux of the holiday season, the bridge of the holiday season. So we'll make sure we say a proper farewell to my pal, Steven Raichlen, when he shows up. He's a Barbecue Hall of Famer, for crying out loud. So, Steven, quickly on the sides. Ooh, even worse. I think this connection was the worst of all, unfortunately, right here at the end. All right, let's do this. Don't disconnect. Let me bid you a very happy Thanksgiving whenever you get to it. And we'll direct everybody over to barbecuebible.com. So if you have any questions about what you should be making, that's where you want to go. And then, of course, be on the lookout for Project Fire Season 4 coming out this spring. Next spring. And there you go. That is Steven Raichlen right there. Almost. We have to figure out what's going on with that. What we're really going to have to do is pay attention to the next segment with Amber Glanville to see if we have bugs in the internet or if Steven has bugs. That sounds weird in a vacuum. If Steven has bugs on his internet. We'll see how it goes. Let me talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills, some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. 2 different lines to choose from, of course. The Choice line, so it doesn't give you all the frills and bells and whistles. Get you a nice, great cooker, saving some money, accommodating a lot of food, able to put it on a patio, no problem. Now, if you want to spend some extra dollars, fine. You get more of a robust build on the chassis, you get 2 internal meat probes, Wi-Fi connectivity, app capabilities, peek in windows, the bells and whistles, if you will. It's up to you. You get a peak and a ledge for models on the Prime. On the Choice line, you get Daniel Boone. Now, if you're looking for a portable cooker, the Trek is what I recommend. It can go to all the tailgates that you're interested in. You can put it in the back of most trucks, vans, and SUVs. You plug it into the 12-volt outlet in your car, and away you go, or whatever it is that you're driving. And you don't sacrifice a tremendous amount of capacity for the portability. Go to greenmountaingrill.com, find a dealer near you, and then you will get educated because they only sell through dealers, yes. And then you're ready to go. Get it home, use it, you have all the information. Now at greenmountaingrill.com, they also have rubs, sauces, other accessories, things like this, so be sure to check them out. greenmountaingrills.com, that's greenmountaingrills.com. Be sure to check out that pizza oven insert. All right, Amber Glanville is in the green room. We will get to her in just one moment. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Now's the time where we give stuff away. People give us stuff on the show to give away at no money for you. That's why it's free. Send an email on its way when I tell you to. That's why we give stuff away.
Hey, guess what? We're giving stuff away here this evening. That's right, Derek Riches and Sabrina, oh dear, Baksh. I apologize, Sabrina. I should have asked. The Complete Guide to Smoking Meat, 100 smoking good recipes for barbecue and more. Brought to you by the fourth Tuesday of the month regular guest of the first hour, Derek Riches, bristly barbecue journalist, and Sabrina, his wife, who I didn't even know till 2 weeks ago. This book is not available at this moment. I have an advanced copy because I'm top men in the industry. But you can pre-order if you want over at Derek's website, or if you send me an email right now in the subject line, put bristly barbecue journalist, and you're the first one, you get this book. And if you want me to sign it, I'll sign it. Again, subject line, bristly barbecue journalist. For the Complete Guide to Smoking Meat, 100 smoking good recipes for barbecue and more from Derek Riches and Sabrina Baksh. Again, sorry, Sabrina. Good luck.
Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets and other stuff. Cookinpellets.com is the website for more information or see what else they have. You can also buy the pellets right there. CB and the gang over at Cookin' Pellets. My next guest, co-founder of Pit Barrel Cookers. Pit Barrel continuing to enjoy success on many levels. Tonight we'll learn about a new product that might make a well-known cooker even more well-known and potentially more successful. We'll also talk about what we might be able to expect from them in the upcoming year of 2022. So we go ahead and race to the hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Amber Glanville. Hey, Amber.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
Good. I can.
All right. So far, so good. We've made it this far. Let's continue to go. All right, now, right off the bat, because 3 emails came in at the exact same time, you are going to pick the winner of the Derek Riches and Sabrina book. Does Jose Martinez, Wally Inskeep, or Brian Ashman win?
Oh, I just have to pick somebody?
Just pick somebody.
Brian.
Brian! Good job, Brian. Brian was actually the first email in, but I also go by timestamp. And a number of them were at 9:37 p.m. So we have to have one winner. So, Brian, luckily, Amber likes you the best, evidently. So send me an email with your shipping info and write winner in the subject line so I know how to delineate it, and we'll get it right out to you whenever I get back to the post office, and who knows when that will be. Amber, before we talk about the new accessory that will change the live fire industry forever as it relates to a specific bullet smoker, how is that end grain cutting board venture going? Because I love my end grain cutting board, and I'm wondering how it is.
It's great. Yeah, we launched in June. We missed Father's Day, unfortunately, but it's going well. As you know, it's the Ferrari of cutting boards. That's what
Yep.
Noah likes to call it. It's amazing. If you don't have one, you need one. They're obviously a high end product. It's not your it's a centerpiece, and we have the 3 different sizes. We have the deep wide juice channel that is unbelievable, because most of the times when you have a cutting board, you have your paper towels and your towels that are underneath your cutting board because the juices are dripping down, at least when you're cooking on the pit barrel. No, I'm
Yes.
just kidding, but
All the other stuff, dry. Look out.
I'm kidding.
No matter how hard you try.
Right. But no, it's going well. They're beautiful, manufactured in Kentucky at our facility there. And it's going well. I think the holidays it's going to be a great holiday gift.
I was going to say, as the holidays are approaching, and it seems now once August is over, we might as well start talking about holiday shopping anymore. This is going to be right up everybody's alley if they didn't jump on board, or maybe it was off the radar because, as you said, just missed Father's Day. This is going to be, if you get whoever live fire cook in your life this product, whatever size it is, this might be the gift they talk about not only next year, but in 10 years from now, because, as you say, and I don't know if people can really appreciate without seeing it, this is, as you said, a centerpiece. This is something that you're going to take care of, that you're going to be happy to have out on the bar or wherever it is you're carving meat, or put the roast and bring it to the table, or just leave it on the table. And I don't know, again, without seeing it, these juice channels are ridiculously accommodating. And on one side of it, it's actually got like a spout. So if you want to take the juice, or the au jus, as we like to say, and put it in a bowl or save it for a dip or whatever the hell you would do with it, you can just nicely tip it over, and you're not having to awkwardly try and get it out of it. It just flows out there real nice. So this is going to be the gift of the holiday season, I think.
Yeah. And it was well thought out, and I'd love to take the credit for that, but that was all Noah. So...
But he's not here tonight,
things.
so let's go ahead and take
fired.
credit. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Little did he know, we fired him earlier today. So we have a new product announcement, which I love to do.
Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Greg Rempe reporting from the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio, the city that breaks the most live fire cooking news in the country as it's breaking, nay, the globe. And we go to California, where Amber Glanville from Pit Barrel Cooker is about ready to announce a new accessory.
Yes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh my gosh. No. So we launched the WSM hanging system about a week ago, and it is an 18-inch, it fits the 18-inch WSM, and it allows you to get as close as you possibly could to cooking on a pit barrel without cooking on a pit barrel. So there's a lot of WSMs out there on the market globally, and we would love for them to have the same great experience, or at least get close to it, by utilizing that hanging system.
So we're taking a look at it right here, and looks pretty simple. I'm as non-handy as it comes, but it looks like I'm basically ripping the guts out. Do I keep the water pan in there, or everything gets ripped out?
Nope, you take it out. And then you just attach that. It's really simple. I think it maybe takes 5 to 10 minutes to assemble. And then you're hanging chicken and ribs and whatever you want to do in there. And it's pretty awesome.
And it's
stainless steel.
$60. So it's not breaking the bank by any stretch of the imagination. And this would also make a great guest. So if anybody has a WSM, before I ask a stupid question, let's ask about the genesis of the product. I always love to know how business operates. So is this something where a pit barrel cooker owner might also have a WSM and say, boy, I would love to have a similar experience in a WSM? Or do you just see this cooker having a decent market share and saying, hey, let's make something to make it more like a pit barrel?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I mean, we have customers that obviously love their pit barrel, and they have one of each size. And then you'll talk with people and they're like, I have 25 grills and smokers, and people are, it's their hobby. And so there's, again, WSM, they're all over, again, globally. The pit barrel's global as well. but we just thought it would be really cool to have a really cool accessory that allowed them to, have the same experience. So I think it's a little bit of both.
And again, $60. They're obviously good inventory levels here. I know there's been many folks in different industries that have been struggling here and there, but this is okay.
Yes, we have inventory, and we are good. We are ready for the holidays, and I think for us, our biggest concern is just shipping. So we're telling everybody just get your orders in as soon as possible, because we definitely see some delays with everything going on.
In this product's regard, if you just have a WSM, is this something that you're hoping people can dip their toe into the pit barrel-like experience and then ultimately graduate into a pit barrel as well? Or are you not really looking to convert?
No. I mean, I'd love to convert everybody. Wouldn't I? I think that, I think for sure that they would, have that and see how it works and taste the food and realize that, we're going to move on over to the PBC or the PBJ or the PBX. So
in regards to the PBX, we talked about that the last time Noah was on. We revealed it. It had been in the works for what seemed to be, at least when we had talked about it originally, well over a year, and it finally comes out. Mm-hmm. But if you go on the website now, it says sold out. So obviously reception into the market was maybe better than expected, or at least met expectation, because you don't have any anymore. So how did the reception hit in your mind? And then when are there going to be more?
So that's a great question. There are more now. We relaunched back today at 2:00. So 2 p.m. Eastern, we went back in stock, and it went great. We expected the launch of that size to go very well, and it did. But it's a game changer with, large capacity events, catering, food trucks, restaurants, and then there's just those people that everybody wants the biggest thing, especially if you're in Texas. They want the biggest, the baddest.
Is that where you were getting most of your requests from? A bigger pit barrel via Texas?
I will say Texas, for sure.
Really?
Yes. They wow. Everything is bigger in Texas. That it's just the way they are. And I love it. But so it's gone really well. We're excited to have it back in stock, especially for the holidays, for sure.
I wonder, as you're game planning that whole thing, you have to put in an initial order. Do you try and have these pre-sold to a certain degree, or you have such a finger on the pulse of the current customer base where you can say, well, if we order, I'm just throwing out round numbers, 500,000 of them, we can sell half or more than half, or we would like to know we have 90%? How do you go about trying to figure out what you can sell as you go to make that initial order? Because, I mean, it could flop, and now you have a bunch of PBXs sitting all over the place that you can't wield.
Sure. I think a lot of it is just customers and reading emails and social media and just knowing what the customer wants and kind of gauging that. We do a lot of forecasting. We do a lot of stuff, by gut. But there is a method to the madness, I would say. But being that we sold out, it did go really well. But as you said, people waited a long time, and I felt bad because on social media and customer service wise, people are like, when is it coming out? And we had to keep pushing it back. Just last year was a crazy year. And so we're really excited to have the family complete now.
So you're going to think this is a pull out of left field here, but Chris Gorsney writes in instant chat, I'm from Texas, and yes, I bought my PBX today. See? So he's obviously one of the people that drive the Texas barbecue mantra there.
That's right.
Good for him. Chris, let us know how the PBX works. I mean, if you get one, is this just put in more charcoal and in essence it's going to cook exactly like the flagship product?
It does, and the capacity is crazy. And I mean, we cooked ribs this weekend. We cooked 39 racks of ribs in 2 of them. And it was funny because we had an event for our son's football game, and we had to cook for, 250 people.
Oof.
And people walked up, they're like, you're only cooking on 2 cookers? And Noah's like, yep, it's the PBX. So yeah, it went really well, but that's a lot of racks of ribs.
As I was talking with Steven Raichlen last segment, and you in the beginning of this segment, as the holiday season is here, are you guys putting together special packages or anything holiday related that people will want to keep an eye out for?
We are. We have always worked really hard to just keep our prices fair and consistent throughout the years. And it wasn't until this year that we said, let's do some packages. Let's do maybe some, Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. So that's my little plug there. We may have some cool stuff coming up for that. I guess it's called like Turkey 5, that Friday through Monday. And then we launched our Christmas packages on the website as well. So those are live along with the stocking stuffer packages. So yeah, there's some really cool stuff coming out, and we're ready for the holidays.
As you look into next year, last year was crazy weird for any number of reasons. There was a lot of success in the live fire industry because people were home and cooking and not going out maybe as much as they were used to. And it started to turn a little bit more this year. Who knows what next year is going to look like? So how are you game planning for that next year?
It's interesting because, as anybody in the industry, in the outdoor industry knows, it was very hard to plan for this year. But I think we're going to see some stuff that's kind of normalizing in 2022. So, I don't know. It's interesting. That's really my answer, because we don't really know what next year holds.
From a growth standpoint,
isn't that a great answer?
Yes. My buddy Jim Rome always says he worked really hard at saying nothing at all. That's right. That's what I like to say. So for next year and growth to the products line, is this something where, as a company, you're constantly trying to think of what accessory or what accoutrement can we bring out next that is going to, not just to throw it out there, but that can bring value? Or is this a year where you say, we're not going to worry so much about the accessories, the gear, the swag, blah, blah, blah. We want to get out and drive more channel sales or get into this market or this retailer that we haven't been, and focus more on that side of things?
I think accessories are great. You mentioned the swag, apparel and different things like that. I think we're going to focus more on accessories that go with the line of cookers. And that's probably the direction that we're going to go. And we have things that are in the pipeline already that you just, your mind's always going with new things and different. And we have things that we've thought of for years, and we just, need to do it. So, we're excited to have the PBX here. We're excited to have the WSM hanging system. And now it's just, I think adding to the accessory line for sure. So we're excited about that.
Anything else going on that you would like to talk about or promote here before I let you go?
We launched a new GovX discount on our website, which we've never done before. We used to have our custom military logo plates. We discontinued those about 2 weeks ago and launched the GovX discount. So that is for like military, first responders, healthcare workers, teachers, pretty much anybody. I laugh, saying
truck
that,
salesman.
Yeah, exactly. But we appreciate them, and we want to thank them by offering the discount on our website. It's really easy to do, and so that was something that people had asked for years, and we finally implemented that as well. So we're excited about that, and then really just telling people to get your orders in for the holidays and taking advantage of ordering, sooner rather than later, so you're not, disappointing your family members, because it happens.
Yeah, of course it does. You guys fairly traditional Thanksgiving folks? I would assume turkeys are going to be hanging all over those pit barrels.
Yes, we do. So we do a Friendsgiving every year, and we're doing it this Saturday. And so we're going to do beef tenderloin and a turkey, and we're going to do one more thing. We're not 100% sure, but yeah, we're always hanging something for Thanksgiving.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank for the years of support of the show. Obviously, I've spent some time outside of the show with you and Noah and Easton and Max, and you guys are great hosts and people outside of the business. But everybody knows you guys, great company, great professionals, and it's just been a pleasure partnering with you guys and getting to know your whole family as friends. And some of the best people in the industry that I certainly appreciate. So hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Please send my hellos to everybody. And we always say hashtag no cave cow ever since we were there that last time.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, thank you so much. That's really kind of you. And we feel the same way, and we love supporting your show, and we always love being on the show. So hopefully next time Noah or the boys, I mean, they're getting older now. They can handle this.
We got to start grooming them to take over, to talk to this old man about the next level of pit barrel.
That's right. They can do it. So thanks so much, and hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving as well, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, there she is, Amber Glanville right there from Pit Barrel. PitBarrelCooker.com. PBX is now back in stock, as she said. And obviously, as Chris Gorsney knows, he just ordered his a little bit earlier today. And he said that he will keep me up to speed as soon as he gets it and how it cooks. So we'll get some firsthand experience there. We are getting ready to move to the second hour. So if you want to join in and ask questions or give comments through Clubhouse, get on the app and raise your hand, and we'll get you up and running. Also, be on the lookout if you have a WSM for the accessory page on the Pit Barrel Cooker website. $60. That could be a great gift this coming holiday season, as we're in the holiday season. For anybody that has a WSM bullet style smoker, you can get them into the hanging, the feel of the hang, and then they might graduate to the pit barrel. As Amber said, they would love to convert everybody, of course. All right, we will be back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around.
You're listening to the #1 most downloaded barbecue and grilling podcast anywhere. The Barbecue Central Show. Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard 2, Fireboard 2 Drive, Fireboard 2 Pro, and of course the all-new Fireboard Spark that we talked with Ted Conrad about last week. As far as the other Fireboards are concerned, you can monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously, connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via the Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. And again, don't forget about that Fireboard Spark. Brand new. It's an instant read meat thermometer. Has the very quick thermocouple hot measurement system. I can get out of my depth real quick. And it's also a single-channel Fireboard. But as you're using it as a single-channel Fireboard, you can also whip the thermometer portion out and then take instant read thermometers while it's also giving the one channel. Go back and listen to the interview with Ted Conrad last week, and you'll be ready to rock. And get one for yourself, $150. Give me a break. All right, we are pointing to the second hour. We have some great interviews coming up, of course. We congratulate Brian Ashman for winning the Derek Rich's book, which is the complete guide to smoking meat. 100 smoking good recipes for barbecue and more. It's available for pre-order right now. But Brian gets his hands on an advanced copy. Brian, did you make a note if you wanted me to autograph Derek's book? I'll have to look through your email here. All right, go ahead and refresh libations, and we will move to the second hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the #1 most downloaded barbecue and grilling podcast anywhere. The Barbecue Central Show.
Rempe from Cleveland, Ohio. And you're listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how you doing?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners. So listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. Welcome aboard. It's the Barbecue Central Show, and we talk about all the most important things in the barbecue and grilling industry. It happens each week. We're live Tuesdays from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern, recording, as always, for podcast later. First hour will be up in about an hour and 55 minutes from now, and the second hour will be on Thursday. Don't forget, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. Snappy Snaps at BBQ Central Show. /BBQ Central Show on Facebook and Twitch for live video feeds. Also over at /RD Rempe on YouTube. We are also live on Clubhouse. So if you have a question for my second hour guests and you want to use Clubhouse, do that, because the phone number is worthless. We're going to be taking that away as we turn into 2022, but Clubhouse is a good way to interact, good sound quality, which is what I really care about, and easy way to get in and out. So if you want to ask any of the guests coming up, I am happy to include you via Clubhouse. Still to come on this show this evening, Susie Bulloch from Hey Grill Hey will be joining me in about 13 minutes from now, and then we will close it out with Nick Bauer, the president and owner of Primo Grills. Don't forget, you can get an ad-free podcast experience through patreon.com/BBQ Central Show, or if you're an Apple Podcast user, you can subscribe to ad-free podcast right there as you subscribe to the show. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, episode 203 from November 18th, 2014, taking you back. Did you know what this time of year means to many of you? Thanksgiving? No. Almost Christmas? No. Vacation time from work. That has to be it. No. Indeed, the McRib is back, and it is time to cram as many of those vile sandos into your mouth before McDonald's rips them off the menu again, leaving you huddled in a corner trying to figure out when the next time you're going to be able to get your hands on one of those is going to be. And in this episode, I bring you back to an exceptionally great anti-McRib rant I did back then. Now, while my stance on this nonsense hasn't softened in the past 7 years or 20 years, really, I will say this. If you find those pieces of crap to be exceptionally delish, then eat all of them that you want. I can't keep you from eating McPoop. After all, your happiness is what I care the most about. Even though you must hate yourself and me, I will love you no matter what. So you just go ahead and eat those McRib sandwiches all you want. I'm going to love you just as much. It's not going to matter. I mean, I might love you a little less, but I'm still going to love you no matter what. And don't forget, if you want to hear a guest or a segment again that you've heard on the show before in years past, then please email John, Jon, at thebbqcentralshow.com. And he will do his best to meet your expectation. And then, of course, we have this comment in coming from Jason Pettis. I hear the McRib is made of Bubba Burger. No. Jason, if you ever watched the YouTube video of how McRib is made, you would know that 95% of the McRib is made with pork picnic. I'm not arguing the fact that the McRib isn't made of pork. It is. I've watched the video. I've seen those two guys that were filming themselves being such harsh critics of the McRib and what is it made out of? We think it's made out of sponges. And then the guys from McDonald's corral them off the street and throw them into the McRib factory. And they're using a load of pork picnics. And they take them through the whole process. You can go on YouTube and find it. It's quite entertaining to watch. So I will say that while it is probably made with 0.0 ribs, it's definitely made with pork, and it's pressed into a form, and that's the McRib. And the things that I find most irritating about the McRib aren't necessarily the fact that it's called like McRib and it's not made out of rib. They put slivered onions on it. Gross. And while I'm a huge fan, one of the most wonderful condiments or side dishes, I don't even know what it falls under. Maybe Susie can answer that when we get to her here in a few minutes. There's probably no bigger fan of pickles than me, and any pickle. I'm not a huge fan of that bread and butter pickle so much. I mean, if I have to eat it, I'll eat it. But any other pickle, I'm down for. But, man, that, on top of that sandwich, that's two things that are weird. Slivered onions on top of ribs. Ribs? Gross. Onions gross in general, but slivered onions on top of that. And then the pickles. Like, I can get down with the 2 or 3 pickle slices at the chicken fillet, but not on the McRib. That's gross. So stay tuned for episode 203 coming out this Friday. Email from Mickey in Georgia. Greg, where do we find these guests on the show? Sorry, where do you find these guests on the show? That Will Ford interview was so good, I can't believe it. I have often thought about crowdfunding for projects, but once I start heading down that road, I become overwhelmed and never follow through. To hear what Launch Boom can do for someone like me gets me really pumped up. $15,000 to see if we can fail fast and fail cheap. Sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not. Thank you for having him on and talking about this. Regards, Mickey. Mickey, thank you for writing in, of course. Yes. Now, while I would love to sit here and take credit for sourcing Will Ford, I cannot in good faith do that. My pal Sean Walchef from Cali Comfort Barbecue interviewed him on his digital hospitality podcast originally, and then had him on a corresponding Clubhouse a week or so later after that podcast had been released. And that's where I was introduced to Will Ford, was through that Clubhouse event. And I thought, wow, I didn't even know there were agencies out there that handle these crowdfunding things. Ted Conrad seemed to know all about it, seemed to know that some people were getting hosed on this. But it didn't sound like Will was trying to get anybody hosed. And if you have $15,000 to try and vet out your product through Test Boom, as he called it, enabling you potentially to get the launch boom, and then once you're fully funded after day one, getting you into the last boom that I can't think of. Was it Commerce Boom, or what the hell was it called? Damn it, I can't remember. There was a lot of booms going on last week. But you're right, Mickey. I mean, this is perfectly it. If you don't have a lot of business equity, if you don't have a lot of accounts receivables to go get your anchor loan on or whatever you might get otherwise, you don't have receivables to go off of to get a loan, or you don't want to get a loan, go crowdfund. As Will said, if people buy into the concept, they are happy to give you their money. And on top of that, in advance, right? This product isn't even made yet. This is just a thought. You have some mock-ups. You have some drawings. You're selling the idea. People are buying into it. They're happily giving you their money. They're happily waiting to get it. And as we've seen through some other projects, that aren't related to Launch Boom. They have been, very successful to the tune of millions of dollars of funding, and they have been really freaking slow on rollout and production. So imagine being able to meet market expectation, delivering when you should, or perhaps in advance of that, and then being able to turn a whole career on crowdfunding. Never have to go to the bank again. Always go to your marketing or go to your customer base and ask them for the money to fund you. Why not? Always better to use somebody else's money than your own. That's what I say. That's what I teach my gals in this house. I say, gals, why would you use your own money when you could use somebody else's money to figure this or that out? Don't use your money to buy dinner. Use that guy's money over there. Come on. Come on, ladies. All right. Susie Bulloch is in the green room. She's ready to rock and roll. I will talk to you quickly about Primo Grill, and we'll be talking with Nick Bauer after Susie, believe it or not. What do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they're fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We also love that they can get rip-roaring hot to do high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking, very important to both professionals and backyard cooks alike. The best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker, not very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo Grills and their game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute two-zone setup that you desire. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. Really, when you break it down, there's over 60 ways to cook on this thing, so you're only limited by your culinary imagination. Now, things that we know that were released this year. The revamped lift hinge on the lid. You have the air dampers on the top and the bottom. There's the Primo Grill rotisserie, turning out great food, including everybody's favorite chicken wings. And a little bit later this evening, we're going to learn about all the other accessories that are literally coming off the boat as we speak. Here's the bottom line. Best ceramics in the biz? Yes, patented technology, of course. True two-zone cooking capabilities. And multiple sizes? Yes and yes. If you just have to have a round Primo, they have those. But really, consider the oval. Be a trendsetter. Don't be like everybody else going, oh, I have a chair, I have a chair.
I have a chair, I have
Don't
a
do
chair.
that. Get the oval. Visit primogrill.com, find a dealer near you, get educated, and buy the size that fits you best. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Who's ready for a Primo? I'm ready for a Primo. Nick Bauer, ready for a Primo. In about 25 minutes from now. Primogrill.com, the website, and we are back with Susie Bulloch from Hey Grill Hey right after this. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Now's the time on the show where we give stuff away, yeah. It's free and you don't have to pay a thing, that's why it's free, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I'm laying down those vocals. Well, if the first hour wasn't giveaway worthy enough, we have a giveaway in the second hour brought to you by me, actually my wife. She bought two of these, one for me and one to give away to you last year, but I forgot. But we found it this year, getting ready for the holidays over the past weekend, and here it is. It's a Christmas tree smoker ornament, retailing at $13.99 from Craniacs in Sharon, Pennsylvania. Sure to be a gift that you will ornament you will keep for generations to come and pass down to the next live fire cook in your family. Right here, you have the wood main cooking chamber handle, and you have the firebox handle as well. I'm sure it's cool to the touch. So if you would like that for your tree, send me an email, and in the subject line, put ornament. And you have to spell it right, or it doesn't count. Ornament in the subject line, and you can get this ever-popular one of two smoker from the Barbecue Central show, Christmas tree ornament. Good luck.
Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. the Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And this portion being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker. We just had Amber Glanville on last segment, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet, currently available in 3 sizes. Whether you're a beginner or a professional, definitely a cooker you want to add to the arsenal, visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. Leading off the second hour for their quarterly visit on the show, the creator of Hey Grill Hey, one of the most recognizable and popular names in the space right now and has been for the past number of years. We're a little less than 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, so we will get you all dialed in on that. We'll also talk about a few other live fire things that are going on as well. We race to the hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Susie Bulloch. Hey, Susie.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. As always, this has to be a very busy time of the year for you. I had asked Jess Pryles a month or 2 ago. Would love to get your take on this as well. Your living pretty much is devising recipes and teaching people how to cook, which means if you're going to do something new or bring something new to the table recipe-wise for a holiday, like we're going to be having Thanksgiving in a week and a half or so, you have to do this in advance. So, what does a holiday ramp-up look like for you in that regard? And then secondarily, like Jess said, for Christmas, they're Chinese food eaters. They're not even traditional eaters. So will you be eating something other than Thanksgiving because you're like all turkeyed out from all the recipe creation, or will you do a standard Thanksgiving?
I mean, the planning ahead is a real thing. I think we have had 2 whole turkeys. I think we've done 4 or 5 turkey breasts this year. We've done wings. We've done everything. We've done brines. So I think we have had maybe like 2 complete Thanksgiving dinners already. Just between recipe development, recipe testing, and filming videos for the YouTube channel. And so by the time Thanksgiving comes around, we are kind of like, yay, turkey and stuffing.
Again.
But we usually travel and we eat with family. And they haven't had 3 Thanksgivings. And so to them, it's like, oh, I've looked forward to this all year. Everybody's very thrilled about it. And so we partake again. But I will say it removes some of the like specialness of the food because the food's been done. But I mean, the family memories and gathering around the table, those are always amazing regardless of what's being served. So we're happy to be there.
So because of who you are you put in that position of Susie's going to cook with us, whether you're traveling or not? Or are you from a family that is like, hey, we can all cook. Susie, you sit down, watch the ball game, have a beer, and we got this?
It's been a mix. Usually, I mean, my family, we have a pretty big family on both sides, both my husband's side and my side. And so we always grew up with kind of the potluck style of Thanksgiving anyway. So I don't think anybody's really ever done like the whole meal at home. Everybody kind of brings something. And this year we are traveling. So I believe we are bringing pies, which I think this is the first year I haven't brought like an entree or a smoked turkey or a smoked side in a long time. I would say at least 5 or 6 years. So it'll be funny. Todd's like, are you like copping out of Thanksgiving this year? You signed up to bring pie? And I was like, I think so. I think I accidentally opted out of Thanksgiving.
That's right, Todd. We're post-COVID. Give Susie a break, for crying out loud. Give me a break. So, all right, so let's dig into it, right? Let's dig into that. Where does Thanksgiving rank in eating holidays for you?
I think it used to be my favorite holiday. It was certainly one I don't know if you guys did this as children, but we would strategize the best time to eat a meal before the Thanksgiving meal. So generally we would eat like earlier afternoons. We wouldn't do like a full dinner, wait until the evening to have Thanksgiving dinner. We'd usually eat around 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. So we would plan like, okay, if we eat a really big breakfast at about 7, it'll stretch our stomachs out. And then by the time it's 2:00, we'll have passed the lunch hunger and be prepared to just gorge at the 3:00 dinner time deadline. So we would, it was a big deal. I've always loved Thanksgiving. I've always loved food holidays in general. So I would say it still ranks pretty highly just because of the nostalgia and the family and the memories. But I will say the food has kind of like I mean, it's Thanksgiving is so unique because you are putting out dishes and you are cooking things that you really don't cook the rest of the year. And so having already done it 3 times, it's kind of like, okay, that's like the specialness of the actual food and the actual meal is kind of disintegrated a little bit, but actually gathering around with family is still just as amazing. So
Susie Bulloch joining us here on the show, heygrillhey.com, and also on social media at heygrillhey. So what gives with this turkey? It comes around in November. Everybody claims it's delicious. And I've said for years on the show that this coming year is going to be the year that I routinely eat turkey, but I end up being a liar. And the next time I eat turkey is typically right around Thanksgiving. Now, if by chance I go through a really good barbecue restaurant, they probably have some kind of smoked turkey, which is always really great when it's done great. But outside of that, I'm not really cooking it too much at home. And it's like, I feel shame because every year, I say I want to do it more, but I don't. What do you think the deal is with that? Is it just that quickly off the radar? Some people will double up on Christmas and do a turkey as well. But outside of that, as soon as the new year turns, you're waiting 11 more months.
I mean, maybe for some, we eat turkey all the time. And I would say, surprisingly, I think because maybe we do a lot of like the beef and the pork and, you know, maybe some of the heavier meats. Turkey is actually a pretty regular staple for us. And in Utah, we have one of the largest turkey farms in the United States. And so we have really great turkey products available pretty much year round. And Todd loves a smoked turkey. He has got his seasoning. He's a salt and pepper guy. He butter bastes those turkey breasts. And he loves them all of the time. He'll make smoked turkey, just the whole breast, and then slice that for sandwiches instead of buying like the store-bought deli turkey meat. And so it's something that we certainly cook year round, and I would consider it, you know, a pretty classic part of our barbecue arsenal. But I can see why other people don't. I think really availability and visibility on the butcher counter and on the shelves contributes a lot to that, because if you had beautiful big turkey breasts out year round that were fresh and ready to go, like you would probably cook them a lot more frequently, but generally they're relegated to the freezer section, which isn't on display most of the time. And what you have the option for on the shelves is ground turkey. And that's really, I mean, I know some grocery stores do have things like turkey wings and legs year round, but I would say it's less common to be sold year round. And so I think that contributes a lot to people not cooking it all of the time is, you know, it's not getting that eyeballs on the product in the store shelves.
Do you agree with people saying this holiday is more about tradition versus the turkey tasting really good? They're not really craving it, and it's not like ribs or a well-cooked brisket, you know, some of these other traditional barbecue meats, or a steak or a prime rib. That it's just kind of, the turkey's kind of bland, but it's everything else that encompasses the holiday that they feel more magical about.
I think maybe that was the case 30, 40 years ago when the only turkey recipes you could get were from a magazine. And of course, they were styled beautifully, but people were still relying on the pop-up timers. There really wasn't the accuracy of instant read thermometers that we have now. There really wasn't a lot of development in the turkey space, because again, I do think it was a once a year, it was a big deal once a year, but I don't know. I think there are so many more people working to make better food than there were a long time ago. It really was limited to restaurants or print magazines. Maybe, you know, there were a few cooking television shows, but now everyone has access to social media. Everyone's a recipe tester or creator or developer if they want to be. So I just think, you know, by and large, more people care about creating a really great turkey. And I think more information is available to creating a really great turkey than there ever has been, whether that's a wet brine or a dry brine or spatchcocking. These were just techniques that weren't seen a long time ago. So I do think, you know, there was the tradition, but I think nowadays, like the turkey can not just be the visual star, it can be like the flavor star of the table too. And when people taste a really good turkey, they get excited because I think they were used to, you know, yeah, it's a turkey. Okay. We made the turkey, good for us. But now, like when somebody gets that really great bite of really delicious turkey, it is a turning point in their minds, like, oh, this is a thing. Like this is the centerpiece of the meal.
What are your favorite ways to do turkey?
I love a wet brine, and I love a wet brine that packs a punch and adds a little bit of flavor because I think it brings something different to the table. So I have an apple cider brine on my website that is delicious, and I usually make it every year. It is one of my favorite turkey flavors, and then it's traditionally low and slow smoked, so it has that really nice dark burnished skin. And that's probably my favorite. If you were to ask Todd, his most favorite is I have a spatchcocked, and it's literally salt and pepper and butter and smoked at 275. So the skin's a little bit crispier. It has a stronger butter flavor, and that turkey is really coming through. You're tasting turkey. So I think those are our two favorites at our house. They're the ones that when we're cooking the turkey for the Thanksgiving meal, those are the ones that we go to.
When you're picking your turkey, what are you looking for? Are you I don't know what the term fresh means, but are you picking a non-frozen turkey, let's say it that way, or do you not really care too much? You'll get a frozen turkey?
If I plan to brine, I will pick a fresh, unbrined turkey because you don't want to brine a pre-brined turkey. And most frozen turkeys in the grocery store do come pre-brined. They're injected with a certain percentage solution of saline or stock. This does a couple of things. It pre-brines the bird for you. So you can say, wow, that was a really great Butterball or Norbest or whatever the brand is. Because it's kind of their brand affinity to pre-brine, and they want you to have a juicier turkey, and brining really does help with that. It also ups their dollar per pound because the saline solution gets sold with the turkey. And so you're paying for salt water, but it does save you a brining step if it's pre-brined. So I think it just depends on what you want to cook. We'll usually buy the frozen and pre-brined when we're just doing the salt and pepper and butter that Todd likes, and it saves us a brining step. If I'm going to be brining the turkey, I will buy a fresh, non-brined turkey. But I would say the most important thing I look for is actually weight. I think if you're doing a smoked turkey that's cooking at 225, you don't want to buy a turkey that's over 15 pounds. Generally, it takes too long for your turkey to get in and out of the danger zone. You want that to happen in under 4 hours, which is that 40 to 140 degree temperature window, to prevent any, excessive foodborne bacteria to grow while it's on your smoker. And anything bigger than a 15-pound turkey generally takes a little bit too long to get out of that danger zone window. So if I need to feed more people, we'll do two turkeys, but I am generally looking for the turkey under 15 pounds if I plan to smoke.
I remember talking with somebody who was really wise in the live fire world 12 or 13 years ago, and I had recounted a story growing up where my mom cooked like a 27-pound turkey. I don't even know how the hell she got it in the oven, but it was a monster. And so I was regaling this person with a story. Maybe it was either Meathead, maybe it was Steven Raichlen, and he said, it's great and it's very iconic, blah, blah, blah. But don't ever do that. Get two 12-pound turkeys. If you're going to cook a 23 or 24, 25-pound turkey, get two 12-pound turkeys. They're going to cook evenly. Absolutely. It's going to be better, blah, blah, blah. And so we've always lived by that principle, although I can still see that behemoth going into the oven if I close my eyes and remember it. So you, 2 years ago, a deli here in Cleveland told me about heritage breed turkeys. Now, I've heard of heritage breed pork, of course. Is this something that you're familiar with, and have you tried it? And we're talking, not 89 cents a pound like you get for Butterball. This is like $5 a pound. Right. So at a 15-pound turkey, you're talking about some serious money.
So a couple of years ago, I actually did have access to some really beautiful, fresh, never frozen heritage breed turkeys. We got them delivered to our butcher. He ordered them for us. And again, it was like that $4 to $5 a pound price point. It was certainly no, Butterball or Kroger name brand turkey that was in the freezer aisle. These were really, really fresh. And it was absolutely amazing to work with that kind of product and do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison. And I will say it was a very delicious turkey. And I think if you're somebody that's excited about the idea of heritage breed meat, I think if you're excited about the idea of having a never frozen turkey, and if you have a little extra cash, that might be a worthy investment for you and really fun for you to try. I think for a majority of people, they're going to buy grocery store turkeys, and you can make an absolutely phenomenal and delicious turkey from the grocery store. I mean, it's the same like you said, with pork breeds, it's the same with beef breeds. Like, is it phenomenal? Is it amazing? Is it unique? Is it different? Absolutely. Are you going to cook that every single day? Probably not, because your pocketbook can't afford it. And it's not really a super sustainable way for most American households to shop and to cook. But doesn't mean you can't turn out really delicious food from other grades of meat and other cuts of meat. It's totally possible. So I think it's fun to try if you have the budget and the time, and that's something that's exciting to you.
Side-wise, what do you like, and what will you be making, do you think? Or what will you be eating?
Oh my gosh. So my favorite side, I do believe, is my sweet potato casserole. It has a candied bacon streusel on top of it. And so it's like little bit sweet, but not too sweet. And it's got some savory and crunchy elements to it. So I think it's a really welcome addition to a Thanksgiving plate, because you got to have a little bit of everything, right? You got to have the turkey, you got to have the roll, you got to have the mashed potatoes and gravy, and all of those things pull savory, and all of those things pull a little bit heavy. So to have a sweet potato dish that is just a little bit sweeter, a little bit oppositional to the other flavors you have going on the plate is awesome. We are also, my dad has the absolute best cranberry sauce, and he's been making it the whole time I can remember him being alive. It's actually years and years ago when people made ebooks, like recipe ebooks. I created a recipe ebook.
I think they still do, yeah.
Do they? Okay. I haven't made one in a long time because I was like, I'm just going to post these on the website because I don't know how to sell ebooks. But I have an ebook that I made. It was holiday recipes for your pellet grill, because that was, things people were cooking a lot on at the time. And I included my dad's cranberry sauce in that ebook. So if you happen to have a copy, or I think they might still be for sale on my website somewhere. But he has an orange liqueur, and it's just the most phenomenal cranberry sauce. And so that always has to be on the Thanksgiving table. And then we are a pie family. So many, many kinds of pies.
What's the favorite pie? What's your favorite pie?
I am a fruity pie person, not so much like a pecan pie or a pumpkin pie. So I'll like a lemon cream pie, raspberry cream pie. That's my jam.
Not related to Thanksgiving. Was it a week and a half ago? You were in St. Louis doing a TV shoot with barbecue icon Steven Raichlen. How does that come about?
I got an email that said, "Would you like to cook with Steven Raichlen?" And
you weren't just tooling through the streets of St. Louis and you saw, and he's like, "Hey, Susie, come on over here. I got a TV show."
You guys are here. I'm here.
Right. Let's do this.
It was a coordinated effort. But it was super fun. It was great to be the female guest on the show that day. And we got to make one of my favorite desserts. It is a skillet bacon apple crisp with a salted bourbon caramel sauce. And Steven contributed a smoked whipped cream that he topped it with, and it was really, really, really yummy. It was fun.
What do you think about this Steven Raichlen? It's first time interacting with him, or have you known him for a while and had occasion to speak with him otherwise?
Yeah, I actually met him several years ago. He was on a book tour for one of his cookbooks that he had just published, and he came to Utah and was at the ThermoWorks headquarters, and he did a couple of, cooking segments for the local news stations. And then ThermoWorks hosted a just backyard style rib cook-off. It wasn't like a KCBS sanctioned event or anything. And they asked me to come and judge because I lived in Utah. I knew the people at ThermoWorks. So I got to go judge the event, and I actually have a picture of sitting next to Steven Raichlen and judging ribs, and he does not remember me, but he does remember the event, and which is fine. It's fine. But he signed my cookbook because I got a copy of his cookbook. And so we had a couple of occasions to interact. And truly, even on the cooking show, he is a walking encyclopedia of food knowledge. I think he's been in the barbecue and grilling world for so long that he has really collected information and collected recipes and collected techniques, and he just can pull out that information at the drop of a hat. I mean, we were using nutmeg in the apple crisp, and he has 3 different stories about nutmeg, and turns out he read a whole book about nutmeg. And so he just knows more about nutmeg than I will ever know in my entire life. And I think that is such a valuable skill for a television host to have, because you never know when you're going to have to fill time. You never know what tidbits are going to be interesting to add. And I think all of those things make your viewers more educated as well. And he's just so happy and willing to share all of his barbecue knowledge with everybody. It's cool.
Anything you'd like to promote or let us in on before I let you go tonight?
Sure. We're doing Black Friday sales this year. We're doing them a little bit early, like most people are, because I think, shipping was crazy last year. I think it will be crazy again this year.
Yeah.
So you might be able to find stuff in stock, but if there aren't truck drivers and employees to sort and deliver your product, you're not going to get the 2-day shipping, even though UPS will charge you for 2-day shipping. You probably won't get it. So we're running our specials a little bit early. We just launched 5-pack barbecue bundles. So we have all 5 of our sauces and all 5 of our small rubs for $29.99, which is a huge discount.
Yeah.
And I think really the perfect price point for gifting or putting under the tree for your very own self, if you would like to try all of our flavors. And then next week, we are rolling out a couple of fun discounts as well. So
stay on top of things and visit heygrillhey.com or follow them socially at heygrillhey. Susie, always appreciate the time here this evening. Please pass my happy Thanksgiving regards to Todd, the rest of the family, and hopefully we can redo this again next year for quarterly visits.
I mean, yeah, just one last thing. If you guys are still looking for Thanksgiving recipes, we have so many. Like, there is nothing that you would like to make that we don't have a recipe for, either on the website or on the Hey Grill Hey app. And we want you guys to have a really, really successful holiday. So take the tried and true recipe course, and then let me know if you have any questions. We're available.
Thanks, Susie.
See ya.
There she is, right there. Susie Bulloch, Hey Grill Hey. Go to the website, get your recipes, get your whole thing straightened out before Thanksgiving comes upon us here a week from this coming Thursday. That is heygrillhey.com, or as she said, get the app. It's free. You have access to all the recipes there as well. Or just go nuts and join the Grill Squad as well. Why not? Get somebody a membership of the Grill Squad for Christmas this year. All right, we have Nick Bauer in the green room via Clubhouse. We'll get to him here in just 1 second. I'll talk to you quickly about Yoder Smokers. They design and build all of their products right here in the States. Building pride through craftsmanship, world-class customer service. That's the backbone of how they've built the company. This approach translates into what can be a truly bespoke style product that elevates gatherings and friends with family, and an honored and trusted place in the backyards of America. From pellet grills to wood-fired offset pits and charcoal grills, consistent blue ribbon flavor has become synonymous with the Yoder Smokers names. Make no mistake, Yoder Smokers flavor-driven design is unique to each style of pit, and their team has developed their cookers to perform time and time again while lasting the competition for generations to come. It's this generational thought that's rooted in the handmade products and defines the integrity of the core values. American-made quality and endless flavor are the benchmarks of Yoder Smokers. Visit yodersmokers.com and grab yours today. That's yodersmokers.com. We're back with Nick Bauer of Primo Grills right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Celebrating over 10 years of prolific and unparalleled live fire barbecue and grilling talk. And yes, it's still being done from Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Smithfield.com. Get tips and tricks from world champ pitmasters like Chris Lilly, Darren Worth, Ernest Cervantes, and Giles Cridlin. Mouth-watering flavor, no artificial ingredients. Smithfield Fresh Pork is quite simply some of the finest pork money can buy. Trusted choice of world champion pitmasters for use in competitions and at home. That's Smithfield.com. Coming out of the bullpen tonight is the president of Primo Grills, a leader in ceramic grill manufacturing and faithful sponsor of this show, here to bring us up to speed on some long-awaited new accessories for the Primo cooker. Is none other than friend of show, Nick Bauer. Hey, Nick.
Hey, how's it going, Greg?
I am absolutely fabulous, Nick. Appreciate you making time for the show, as always, and a number of different things to talk about here. Are you being tracked down by rabid dogs, Nick? Should we be concerned?
apparently when I said hi to you, the dog thought I was saying hi to someone at the front door. So, sorry about that.
Well trained. We like that.
And so my dog's named after my main business, Empire. So we joke that my next dog is going to be called Primo. So
Absolutely.
that may just happen here in a year or two.
And that would probably be like a mastiff of some kind. So it's, you got to have the size to match the name Primo. That's a really definitive name.
Actually, my wife wants a smaller dog that we're going to name Primo. So it may be about a 20-pound mini golden doodle, but it'll be black at least. But yes, the size may not match the name.
No doubt about it. Nick Bauer joining me here on the show. Nick, Steven Raichlen was in your backyard for the past couple weeks. I don't know if you knew that, and if you did, were you able to go down and check it out, perhaps maybe start some kind of a relationship with him?
Yeah, so the extent of my knowledge of that is when our local newspaper wrote an article about it a couple days ago when I was on vacation in Miami, actually. So, no, I completely and utterly missed that. And it's kind of ironic because someone in I'm guessing his agent or someone in his circle has been talking to me the last few weeks about being a partner with him, but apparently they didn't do too much research on where we're located because he didn't mention he was in town, and we could have done lunch for 10 days, but so be it.
In the most ominous irony ever, he's in your hometown. You said you were in Miami.
Yeah.
He literally went from Martha's Vineyard back to his home in Miami like 2 days ago, if you can believe it or not. What are the chances?
I landed into St. Louis last night from Miami at about 7:30. So my wife is 31 weeks pregnant. So this is our last trip before our first child. So we had a nice little 5-night trip down in Miami, and she was wondering. She's from Argentina, so as we're landing into the cold last night, she's wondering why we live in St. Louis. But so be it.
That's where the business is, no doubt. Do we know what we're having, Nick?
We're having a little girl. We actually had our ultrasound today, so I got photos of her face and everything. So it's been a pretty crazy
nice
last 6-7 hours.
Welcome to the club, the girls club. I had 3 of them and stopped at 3 because I knew 3 was me. So now, if I may, I don't want to overstep any bounds here, but for names, maybe we're looking at Prima. How about that? That's what I'm talking about.
She did give me, she did say I could name her, but I do want to have a successful and happy marriage, so I'm gonna make sure something that she comes up with that I just happen to get to name.
That's right. Happy wife, happy life. Nick Bauer joining us here on the show from Primo Grills. PrimoGrill.com is the website, of course. So, Nick, before we get into the new accessories, the last time you were on, we were talking about what at that point was the newly released lift hinge that was going from, I forget exactly, it was a 30 or 35 pound lift to like 8 pounds. So that was great. And then you also had the top and bottom reman of the air dampers, having the numbers and stuff. So you didn't have to worry about finger widths and pencil widths. How are those still being received in the market?
Yeah, so we started production on those around Christmas of last year, so we're going up on 11-12 months now. It's more people continue to buy them for their old grills. We probably shouldn't have made retrofit kits for the old grills and say, hey, if you ever grill from 1990s and 2000s, this will fit, because there's so much variation, and especially because Primo is now in their 4th factory. So the 3 factories prior and hundreds of different molds and different sizes. So we've had a little bit of a challenge if your grill is fairly old, because there's just so much variation. A lot of our competitors out there never offered a retrofit kit for this reason. We probably got one that fits about 97-98% of the models out there, but you always get that one guy who goes on social media when it doesn't work, and instead of calling us for help, he complains about it. So we've been working through those on a case by case basis. But in hindsight, we probably, when we say one style is going to fit so much variation and so many different molds, it was probably something. But but we also wanted to try. We didn't want to just tell people, nope, you have to buy a new grill for these upgrades. We didn't think that was right. So it's been it's been fun. They've been great, and it's just trying to help the people that kind of need some help here and there.
So if somebody's listening to this now, or they're listening to it over the course of the week through podcast, they have a Primo, they haven't made the upgrades. Is the easiest way to go to primogrill.com and do it that way? Are they being sold through dealers, or is it both?
Yeah, so we prefer to run every sale through the local dealer. We're a family business ourselves. Our local dealers are family businesses. We really want to support the local businesses out there. We don't want to support the Walmarts or the Costco's or go consumer direct. That's just not who we are. So we always prefer to go through the dealer. If there's not a dealer or this and that, reach out to us, go to our website, send us an email. Majority of the time we can find someone who can help. That's just the way we prefer to go to market.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about these hotly awaited and now finally arriving new accessories. I will go ahead and kind of turn it over to you, and you can talk about whichever one you want to first. And while you're talking about it, I will flash the pictures that you sent me so everybody on the video side can see what we're talking about.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know that. I figured this was going to be another video again, so I shaved and put on a nice shirt and everything. So I just wasted, but it's all good. It's probably better that I'm not on the video. Yeah, so I kind of talked about this on my past couple visits. When we looked at acquiring the company, and actually it was 2 years ago, 2 weeks ago. So it was November 1st of 2019. I forgot we just had our 2-year anniversary. There's like the 3 or 4 product upgrades that we mentioned, the top, the chimney, the hinge, the bottle gaskets, these little things. And there's just, the accessories are out there, the rotisseries, the pizza insert. Now we have oval drip pans. We have a Primo Life temp controller coming with apps. So there's, it's pretty clear that, between 3 or 4 upgrades and 5 to 8 different accessories, was a vast majority of what people were asking for. In fact, I did a poll on one of the Facebook pages probably 18 months ago, and we've printed out that poll. And as it wasn't polls, just asking people questions. And as we've kind of come up with things, we've checked off the list. Like the oval drip pans directly came from one guy mentioning on the Facebook page 18 months ago, and then like 6 other guys saying, yeah, that's a great idea. And then we bought them, and they showed up built wrong 4 months ago, so they had to build them again and ship them again. So that's been like a 13-month process. So it's, it's pretty basic stuff. It's not crazy stuff. It's not like new to the world, but quite honestly, live fire cooking isn't really new to the world. And so it's all stuff that I've personally tested myself at my house, especially when COVID hit and we were locked down, and a lot of people would just come to my house on the weekends, and we would just test this stuff. And so it's stuff I personally have used.
So I just showed a picture of the drip pan. So this would go underneath the grill grates, and it is then sitting above where the charcoal basket would be, or the charcoal bowl.
Basically, the knock on something like this is, why do I need this? I buy them for 50 cents or $1, and I throw them away. So you can do a couple things with these. First of all, they're made out of thick steel, so they're gonna last. And you can put water in them, so you can steam. You can just do a lot of different things. You can use them as deflector plates if you want, or there's just a lot of different ways you can use them, and they're gonna last.
The next thing that I see is the rib and chicken holder. I'm going to flash a picture up here. Was this another customer-driven thing, or is this something that was in-house?
Yeah, this is where I should come up with a better story. But, occasionally when you sit around during COVID on a long weekend and all you're cooking and having some drinks, you get a little bored. So I was just sitting on Amazon, just coming up with just doing random grill accessories and what looks cool and this and that. And there was one out there that was circle. So of course I bought it and we used it, and a couple weeks later, and then we had like 6 racks, because it's 6-7 racks of ribs, this one whole chicken in the middle.
Wow.
So it fed the entire. In fact, I think we threw away like half the ribs because we didn't even need them. So instead of just having circle, this we made it oval. So it only fits our oval XL and large, because obviously oval is what makes Primo. So
Right.
Not all accessories we're going to make are going to come for the round, and I'm sorry, but that's kind of just a marketing strategy we have. And it's one size fits both those models. If you want to have a massive party and 6 racks of ribs and a beer can chicken, this is your thing.
Would you say that this would, in essence, double what your traditional rib capacity would be in one of those cookers?
I don't know about, if you follow any of the photos online, guys can come up with ways to put a lot of ribs on there. I normally only do about 3 or 4. It definitely makes it easier, and you can clean it, and you can manage, and you can do different things to it. That also, the bottom of that also is a whole drip pan too. So you see the oval drip pans that we have are half drip pans. Well, if you buy this, the bottom of that entire thing can be used as a whole drip pan as well. So there's multiple different uses for that besides just using the chicken. You could also put it in the bottom and do a brisket on top of it or something. So it's kind of a 2-function thing.
The last accessory I'm seeing is the one that we talked about the last time you're on, which was that pizza oven. So how does this fit into the Primo itself?
Yeah, so it's a wedge. So you put it in between the top and the bottom. This is what I talk about. It's really, really meant for, if you're just doing one pizza for your wife that night, I recommend getting the Fredstone. It's one of our pizza stones we have. The website's thefredstone.com. It's one of the few things we do ship consumer direct as well through our dealers. But if you have your 3 daughters over and they have 4 friends over each, you got 10 or 15 people there, and you're trying to do 4 or 5 pizzas, this means you don't have to lift up the top. So you just pull down the bottom to put the pizzas in and out, so you're not losing that massive heat every time you open up the top. So I've done about 3 pizzas, but honestly, we cooked so much other food when we cooked that we didn't really want to eat more than 3 pizzas. But if you read any of the reviews online of any of the competitive ones, or they all say if you're doing 1 pizza, it doesn't make sense for 1 pizza. Mm-hmm. But if you're doing multiple pizzas in a short period of time, it really, 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 really does help.
Do you find when you're using this that you should be on any certain numbers of the dampers, or are you looking to keep the stone at a certain temperature, or the grill at an operating temperature to ensure? I would assume folks are doing the Neapolitan style pies on this kind of a thing.
Yeah, you guys, that they want to burn it at 800 degrees. All us in the competition and all of these things say don't get above 700 degrees, because that's when the tops start falling off, because the metal starts getting loose. You're 500, 600. These guys who, I want to do it 800, and then, it's poor quality, my metal thing. Yeah, because you're not supposed to do it that high. So we obviously research the competition that's out there, and sure enough, right on the front of the competitive unit, it says cannot exceed 700 degrees. So we put the same thing on ours. And it makes sense why you put it there.
Nick, as far as availability, I know when we were talking about trying to set up this segment, we were constantly kind of pushing it back just because it wasn't in. So where are we at from an inventory and availability standpoint?
Yeah, so all the stuff is in stock in our warehouse. We haven't necessarily launched it to our dealers or put it out there to consumers. We're creating some internal house videos, some kind of, so the video manuals per se, so it's not a piece of paper. And we'll be rolling out that content over the next couple weeks. So it'll be, you'll see it in your showrooms and dealers and price lists here in the next couple, by Thanksgiving to year end. There's not a massive rush to be shipping this stuff right now, because everything else is also, sales are still really crazy good. So trying to just keep up in production and focus on that. But you'll see us if you're on the Primo mailing list, and if you're not, go to our website, and you can join the Primo mailing list, and that's where you'll see all of the updates and the new product announcements and things like that.
Nick, anything else you'd like to promote or tease us with before I let you go tonight?
No, I mean it's been a great 2 years, and appreciate your support and the consumers that are out there, and you know, I read most of our consumer emails that come to the website because we're still short-staffed from COVID, so I've been doing the consumer emails. So if anyone has any ideas or suggestions, you can find me on Facebook at Primo Nick, or you can just send an email to the website and just mention my name, and they'll forward it to me. We're always looking for feedback and ideas and improvements, and you know, definitely 95% of what we learn from having such a direct relationship with our customers, and we absolutely love it.
Nick Bauer is the president over at Primo Grills, and that is primogrill.com. Check out the website, see what's happening, find a dealer near you so you can go visit one in person. Nick, really appreciate the time tonight and the support of this show, which I certainly appreciate. And believe it or not, we just had some JO volleyball tryouts this past weekend, so the little one made another team, and it appears that we will be back in St. Louis next year. So when we get out there, I'll touch base in advance and make sure you're going to be in town and available to meet up. I would love to do that again. But otherwise, have a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you again soon.
Awesome. Yeah, well, let's hope it's when the Cardinals are in town and we can check out a game.
Yes,
but
all right.
all right, bud. Thank you so much.
You got
Cheers.
it. There he is. Nick Bauer right there. Get on the list, the email list, and make sure that you are, if you have a Primo, that you are ready to rock and roll. And get the pizza oven insert and the what is that thing called? The rib rack and the chicken thing. Yeah. And the half drip pan, of course. We thank Nick Bauer once more. Let me talk to you quickly about Yukon Glory. The grill and serve set, an absolute revolution when it comes to the landscape of grilling baskets, because I hate grilling baskets otherwise. One, because I have to wear some kind of heat-resistant glove to move it off the cooker. Two, it gets grease and oil all over my table and counter, and I'm a clean freak, and I hate that. What's a gal to do? Enter the great product from Yukon Glory called the Grill and Serve Set. Patented design fixes everything. The set includes 3 stainless steel grill baskets, which are moved by a clip-on handle that seamlessly grips the interior of the basket for easy lifting and dropping. The set also has a large custom-fitted stainless steel serving tray to catch any drips and allow for beautiful table presentation. But perhaps in my case, also it leaves you a clean table when you're done. What could you cook in these things? Everything. Veggies, seafood, wings, tacos, meats of all types. Where do you buy it? Everywhere. Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, of course, UconGlory.com. If you go to UconGlory.com, drop the code 10Central at checkout, get 10% off all of your orders all the time. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook at Yukon Glory, or visit the website UconGlory.com. We're back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around, be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
And this portion being brought to you by Vortic Watch Company, a small batch custom watch manufacturing and vintage restoration company located in northern Colorado. They take antique American pocket watches and turn them into wristwatches just like this one. Their mission: preserve and enhance the legacy of manufacturing excellence in America. In order to do that, they combine traditional and cutting-edge technology to create unique, quality, functional timepieces with exceptional value. Here's the coolest part. Each watch that Vortic makes is unique and one of a kind. Vortic, founded on the motto that America wasn't assembled, it was built. Check out VorticWatches.com. By the way, if you're really into military-style watches, and I think they literally have 5 of the 50 left, but over Veterans Day, they launched their military watch that they do every year. These were originally in a bomber plane, I believe, from like World War II, something like that. More expensive than you would find normally, but $500 of each watch go to veterans charities. And these watches are incredible. They come with really cool, the watch box itself. They come with additional straps. So go to VordicWatch.com, and then I believe there's a link that says military, and check out what they have there. And I would be shocked if you didn't fall in love with it. They're incredibly cool, very limited every year. I think this is the third year that they've done this. So check them out. And again, like literally 3, maybe 4 left, if that, because this was earlier today. So let's go ahead and make tracks all the way back in the first hour. Steven Raichlen from BBQBible.com. Then we had Amber Glanville from PitBarrelCooker.com announcing the new WSM hanging accessory. So if you have a WSM and you would like a pit barrel type experience with the hanging, get that. $60. It's in stock. Get it for Christmas or whatever holiday it is that you celebrate. Also, EndgrainUSA.com, which is that cutting board that we were talking about. That's going to get you praises, believe me. Second hour, Susie Bulloch, Hey Grill Hey, HeyGrillHey.com. They have some specials coming out for Black Friday and the cyber stuff. And so just be on the lookout at HeyGrillHey.com for a bunch of great info and deals. And then closing it out, Nick Bauer, PrimoGrill.com, with the new accessories that are going to be hitting the shelves here shortly. So get on their list to know when that is going to be happening for a dealer near you. Big show planned for you next week. We're going to be closing out the month. Derek Riches will be on. We'll be talking about that book that we gave away earlier this show. Congratulations to Jose Martinez on winning the ornament, the smoker ornament that will be passed down for generations. Plenty of other guests as well. Embedded correspondents are also slated in. So, how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving, but we'll wait. I'll wish you that next Tuesday before we get there. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. This is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Sam the Cooking Guy, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Some call him a fool, some even call him a douchebag, but I say Greg Rempe is the greatest thing to happen to barbecue since cavemen.